Let's go.
Hey, everybody. It's Nicole Salter, Erik Pacheco,
What?
Thompson Coffee. Erik,
That's
you want
right. Thompson Coffee. I drank my coffee already, so the coffee is in the sink. What's up, everybody? Today we got tons of good information for you. You're watching this video because you want to be informed of the real estate market, and
Yes.
there's nobody realer than Erik and Nicole to give you that data that you want. So, Nikki, what are we going to talk about? What's the first thing? Break down the menu, and then we can start serving.
Well, the first thing we are going to talk about is let's just update each other. Like,
Yo.
we
Okay.
can talk about our top three clients that we're having a good time with.
Okay. All right. So we got Iris who's out in Riverview. Her home, we went on the market on Friday and we went pending on Sunday. So
Nice.
it was on the market 2 days. She has 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1,355 square feet. And when she reached out to me, we had the conversation about listing her property. And I really, dove into the numbers. And I appreciate how she received the information. This market is tough for sellers, and it's even tougher for realtors to
Yeah.
convey the information that they need to know. Not telling them what they want to hear, but telling them what they need to know. So that's what I really appreciate how she received that. And so the information that I gave her was basically where we should position the house. And we wind up getting an offer 5,000 above the list price.
Nice.
And we close May 28th. We are in inspection period. Tomorrow is the inspection. And if everything goes well, that'll be great. So that's in the books. Got a couple of clients, in Connerton who are on the market, and great people with goals to move back up north. A lot of sellers moving back up north, and so
That's interesting.
yeah, a lot of sellers moving back up north, and they got wonderful homes. We got two 5 bedroom homes. One of them's 5 bedroom, 4 bath, 3,300 square feet, built in 2022. And the home has so much to offer, a lot of upgrades. So 9817 Coneflower Court, if you guys are listening, okay, 9817 Coneflower Court. All right, check this home out. This home is priced to sell. And then we have what's the other one? We have
Garden party.
21046 passive porch. 5 bedroom home, 3 bathroom home, about 2,400 square feet in Connerton, like 2 blocks from the community pool and the gym. I mean, get out your house and walk to the huge pool. Why put a hole in the backyard when you could just walk to that pool right there? So much to offer there. That one is priced to sell too at 444. And we got garden party. 8961 garden party pool home, 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, 3,110 square feet. And that one is also sitting there on a corner lot with solar panels, affordable living, because the bill is like 38 bucks a month for the electric. Can you imagine 38 bucks a month, Nikki?
Oh gosh, my kids will leave the lights on all day long.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh my
38
goodness.
it's like cheating. It's like cheating. 38 bucks a month. Solar panels will be paid off for the next homeowner. So that home is on the market too, guys. Reach out to Nicole and myself for those homes. So that's what I got going
Yes.
on.
So I am on the buy side
Yeah.
currently in this phase of life. I do have a listing for land if anyone is looking for it. It is in a community called Indian Lake Estates, 1 acre for 60. I think it's 67,000. If we lower the price a little bit, 1 acre for 67,000. It is in a community that is already built up, but they do have different lots where you can purchase it and you can build on it later if you like. Um, so that's one listing I have. I have another client that called me. Are you ready for this question, Erik?
Tell me about it.
I have a client that called me and said, "Hey Nicole, I want to buy this vacant lot out here in Brooksville, Florida. And I saw that the lot was $30,000. I have about 22,000 in my bank account. Do you think they'll take the rest in gift cards?"
Gift cards.
I was like, "Huh?"
Gift cards. Wait. Gift cards. So wait a minute. Hold on. Rewind. Wait. The rest of the balance And gift cards, not a gift card, gift cards,
with
multiple
an
cards.
S. Yes.
Never heard of that. That's something. What did you say?
I well, it was a pause because I didn't understand what I was hearing, right? And so so just to make sure that I was getting the right message, I said to him, "Say that one more time." And he said, "I have about 22K in my bank account. Do you think they would take the rest in some Amazon gift cards or maybe some Visa gift cards?" And I was like, No, 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 no. For all of you that are buying, that are strapped, gift cards are a no no. It has
Yeah,
to go from bank account to bank account. That is
yeah.
it.
That's
That's the
something new right
only way
there.
you're buying a house in Florida. I'm not going to speak for other states because I'm not there, but that is the only way you are buying a house in Florida today. The money goes from bank account to bank account. A title company, a law firm, they are not going to give you cash. They will give you a check. So that way, um, once the once the money clears on their end, they give you a check and you deposit it in your bank account or you take it to whatever check cash in place that will help you, but everything is through a bank account.
So Facebook, Instagram, the world, you cannot buy the balance of a house or put the money down in the balance of a house with gift cards. Not recommended and not allowed.
No,
No.
no, not allowed at all.
Real
But
estate.
that was
It's
funny.
always something new.
Always something. Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
Then I have another client. I showed them 18 houses total.
18 houses. Okay, I remember this. I remember back in 2021 where we were at the buyer's market and we were looking at homes were selling so fast that you had to see the inventory quickly as fast as
Yes.
all the homes were gone. So here in the
It's a
market
little
that we have
different
now,
now though.
a little different now, and you looking at 18 homes with this client. Did any of them, we get an offer?
No.
No. Wow. How
It's
does
a
that
little different
work?
now. For in my experience in the past like week and a half, we are definitely in a buyer's market. If someone were to ask me when is a good time to buy, I would say now. And here's why. From what I am seeing, right? And I'm going to use this couple as my example.
Yeah,
I took
perfect.
them to one specific community that they really liked. In that community, there are 50 homes for sale.
Wow.
Out of those 50 homes, we saw 18 homes on one day and we saw about 10 homes on another day. And even after the last day I showed them homes, we were leaving. Now, I had my favorite too, because, as a realtor, they want to know if this were you, what would you do? Right. So I had my favorite too. And when we were leaving, the wife still said to me, "Nicole, I saw some vacant lots. Do me a favor. Find out how much the vacant lots are and how much it would be to put our own brand new mobile home on it." Even after seeing 20 what 29-ish homes, even after seeing 29 homes, they
So,
still wanted more options, right?
so what do buy what are this what are these buyers looking for? They're seeing all these homes. What is it that they're not getting that's the reason why they are just not happy, not
I think they are conflicted with the price.
so
They're
price. Okay.
conflicted with the price. They're old time buyers. We were looking in a 55 plus community, and they're used to seeing 55 plus mobile homes at a certain price range. Now we're seeing them in the 200s, close to 300. The one that I really liked was 299. I really liked it because the owners had built up the pad, so this house was a lot higher than the other houses around it, so you don't have to worry about flooding. In
Okay.
addition to that, they when they were building it, they made inside look like a house. So it has regular ceilings. It doesn't have the seam that mobile homes normally has. normal size living room, bathroom, open concept, kitchen, living room, dining room. It has a hidden pantry in a
Wow.
mobile home
Sitting on
with
what
a
size
whole
lot?
wall of cabinets that you open and you walk into the pantry.
A walk-in pantry. It sounds like a
Yeah.
butler's pantry.
It it's better than a butler's pantry because it's hidden. You don't even know it's there unless you know what knob to pull because
Wow.
it's hidden behind the wall, right? And although that was their top choice, they still wanted more options because they're looking at the bottom line, which is price, right? But here's the thing that they're not realizing. There's 50 homes for sale. A lot of these homes have been on the market longer than 100 days. They
Wow.
can probably name their price at
Yes.
any one of those homes. The seller that is most eager is the seller that is going to give them their price.
Good point. Why not go that route? Why not they do that? Why won't they do that?
I, from talking to them, I feel like they feel bad offering less than what the seller is asking for. Even though I would say things to them like, "Oh, did you notice that the floor had scratches on it? That means we're not giving asking price. Did you notice this house has been on the market for 250 days? Tell me how much you'd like to offer." They they don't, which is weird because buyers are normally not like that, right? Buyers are normally like, "Yes, we are lowering the price."
Right.
They don't want to devalue the seller. Again, which is very weird because 'cause I'd
Very
be
weird.
like, "I
Very
like this one.
rare. Very
You've
rare.
been on the market for 300 days. Nobody wants your house. I want it for 250."
So then moving forward, what you have to probably do for them is get the price of, well, how much land does that mobile home have? What's it sitting on?
Less than a quarter acre
So
because
you
it's
gotta find land like less than a quarter acre for a new mobile home and the same size square footage to see what that will cost and then compare the two.
yes. So I did that for them. Um, it's going to be more expensive because the land I did find an acre lot for them, which is 2 lots next to each other. No, it wasn't an acre. I think it was like 0.75. But it's 2 lots next to each other that they could have built on. That is going to be more expensive for several reasons. One, they're going to have 2 HOA fees instead of 1 HOA fee because it's 2 separate lots.
Oh wow.
2, they still have to build up the pad to avoid flooding. They still have to get permits um for installing the electric, the
Oh,
water,
the
and the sewer.
impact fees.
Yep. And then they have to buy the mobile home, they have to design the mobile home, they have to put the mobile home on the pad. And so it's not only costing them more money, but it's also costing them more time, right? And so the question is, do you have that time and that money? If that's what you want, listen, I'll help you facilitate it. I'll help you get everything going, right? But you have to figure out if you have that time and that extra money to do those things. And when it boiled down to it, they said no. They
Mm.
don't have that time, they don't have that extra money. So now I'm just waiting on them to make a decision. There are 2 houses in particular that they want to see again. So that's something that we're going to revisit, but the market is very strange. Is if someone asked me today, "How is the market?" I
Yep.
would say we're in a buyer's market. And if you really need to sell your house, you are going to sell it to the buyer that is giving you the money for it
Mm.
because there's so many houses that you need to compete with that sometimes you have no choice. You have no choice. And I was in that situation. You remember the listing I had on Obregon? We should have sold that house easily in the 600s. We ended up closing at 495.
Yeah.
Why? They were paying a mortgage at $5,000 a month. They were paying for solar panels at $600 a month, and they were living in a whole nother state.
Yeah.
So you've been on the market for 200 days.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
one wants your house. You
That-
gonna turn down this 495 and keep paying this $5,000 a month?
that community Talavera is been hit hard with price cuts in that community. There's a lot of homes that have some big price cuts. So as well as our community, Connerton, we got a couple of price cuts in the community in the $100,000 range
Right.
in our community. So it's happening. If that correction is happening, I would agree with you. If someone did ask me today in the gym, how's the market? You
Mhm.
selling homes? I said I'm doing fine. But the market is it's a tough market. It just depends who are you, what side of the fence you on. Are you a buyer? Are you a seller? And it's definitely trending in the buyer's direction. But it's still good for a seller if you price right. And what I mean by that is because we have a lot of sellers who bought their house a year ago or 2 years ago, and they're selling now. It's not a good market for them. Not a good market for them. Not a good
Right.
situation to sell your home because in that situation, you don't have a lot of equity to give. And so
And you
when you
bought
price
high.
and you bought high, you bought at the peak. So when you look at the net sheet of what you could expect at the end of the sale and what you're going to walk away with, you're like, that's it? I'm basically making nothing. I'm breaking even. Or I might have to bring some money to the table. Well, that's the condition if you're selling now and you bought a year ago or 2 years ago. For example, if you bought 4 years ago, 5 years ago, you have a lot more equity in the game, and you don't have to be so aggressive with your price, and you could
Right.
price with the market and the conditions in the area. And in our area, we have a ton of new construction, and they undercutting their own prices. I mean, every day in my email, decrease, decrease, new construction, new construction. Then they go
Price
down
improvement.
every day, decrease on Connaughton for new construction, decrease 3,000, 3,000 is new construction, and they doing it every day. And
Yeah.
so when you have inventory that much of homes in our community and they're cutting their prices, that's tough to compete with. So I agree with you. It's a buyer's market, depending who you are. If you're a seller, you shouldn't sell unless you have to. And if you're a buyer, you shouldn't buy unless you could afford to. And you definitely have room for negotiation with all the inventory is in your favor. If you're a seller, you got to price right. If you want to sell, your home got to look good condition because there's so many options out there. So
Right.
yeah,
So
I
I
would.
have a question for you.
Yo,
Someone said to me yesterday, she doesn't think that right now is a good time to buy because interest rates are so high.
okay.
My response to her was, your ending result is probably going to be the same no matter where interest rates are. Here's why I say that. With interest rates being high, home prices are coming down, right?
Right, right.
The minute home prices well, wait, let me start over. With interest rates being high, home prices are coming down, a lot of buyers are able to purchase, right? The minute interest rates go down, home prices are going up. They're
Hmm.
not going to stay where they are. So you have to choose which one you want. Do you want
Yeah,
do you want to buy low with a high interest rate that you can later refinance for a lower interest rate, or do you want to buy high with a low interest rate?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
for me, I'd rather buy now at a lower mortgage price, at a lower home price, right? Because at the end of the day, if you have a 30-year mortgage, you're doubling whatever your mortgage is. By the time
right.
that 30 years up, if your house is 300,000, by the time that 30 years is up, you probably paid six for it. Or maybe even seven, eight,
Yeah,
nine.
about seven for it's a little more than double.
Right. So for me, I'm like, you know what? I'd rather get into the house now while I can get it at 300,000 instead of waiting for these interest rates to come down. Because once interest rates come down, I already have my house. I don't have to compete with everybody looking at the same house, putting in um contract after contract after contract and constantly getting beat out. I already have my house. I'm good with my mortgage payment. Interest rates come down. I can refinance and get an even better mortgage payment.
Yeah,
Or I
yep,
can refinance and pull money out so that I can build a pool, so that I can buy a rental property, so that I can do other things. Right? So, in my opinion, when interest rates are high and home prices are low, that is the time to buy because you have more flexibility with that.
Mhm.
What do you think about my answer?
I think that's a great answer. I agree with you. I think when you talk to somebody, you just have to explain it and make sure they comprehend and say, "Hey, do you understand what I'm saying?" Like make sure they understand that. Even better if you could show numbers.
Right.
Show numbers with the interest rate and the payment. Like more importantly too, I always ask them, when that question comes to me and sometimes I'll be like, well, the more important question I have for you is what can you afford? Right? Because can you afford the house that we're looking at this payment? Can you afford it long term? Do you have savings put away
Right.
if it was your job and able to still make payments for 6 months? That's where I would go with it too, because if they can, then this house at this price point, at this interest rate, with your savings, you have security. And
Right.
then when conditions change in the market, for this home with the interest rates come down, you can refi it. And yes, you bought the house at a lower price point because you negotiated better because of the market conditions, right? Interest rates are higher, prices are lower. So you negotiate a better price potentially because you got a motivated seller,
Mhm.
depending, right? So you probably get even a better price
Mhm.
because of the interest rates. They sitting on the market longer, bring
Mhm.
it down more. Yes, the payment is higher because of the interest rate, but if you could afford it, and if all your fundamentals are checked off, where you have savings and you got a good job and you secured, you make this, you buy the house,
Right.
and then when the market conditions change for the interest rates, you refi that loan amount to a lower payment, and you
Right.
bought that house. Your taxes are lower,
Yep.
and then when those rates come down, just like you said, the buyers come back at that point and they start buying houses in your area. Guess what happens to you? Your equity starts to go up in those values
Yep.
first. So you didn't buy at the peak. You brought it down lower with room in the ceiling to go up higher. And
Right.
so it's a great position, and that's a great argument to buy now. To counter that is buyers cannot afford it. Maybe they're looking at the wrong house, and that's why it's too expensive. Maybe that's not the price point for you, right?
Right.
Maybe they want to come down, but again, they don't realize that if the rates come down, that house that they want is going to be more unaffordable.
Yep. Yep.
So it's
And
just
it's going to be more unaffordable because people are going to push it up.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
I have a client, a house that she wanted was in a multiple offer situation. And I told her that this is not it's not a paddle auction, you know. We don't know how much everyone else is offering. The agent says, I need your highest and best by 5 o'clock. You give your highest and best. That's it. If you can't go over 200,000, then that's your highest and best. But don't think that that's other people's highest and best also.
Right.
Know? And she was upset because she's like, I can't believe they didn't give us a chance. They gave you a chance. They asked you for highest and best, and you chose to stay at asking price in a multiple offer situation. Normally, asking price is not going to get you the house in a multiple offer situation. Somebody else is offering more than asking.
Yeah.
And I mean, even I showed her this house about 2 months ago, and she still talks about it, and the house
Wow.
sold for 40K over asking.
It still happens. I think if homes are priced right,
Yep,
and is you can get because this again, buyers want to buy a home. They want to buy houses, but if they can't afford it, they won't buy it. But if you price right, and if you need to sell quickly and get to where you need to go, you want to make as much money as you can.
gotta
Price
be priced right.
price
Yeah,
it right.
you definitely have to be priced right to get into that situation because
Sure.
even to get people to look at it and consider it, you need to be priced right. Because if you're priced too high, people are just gonna pass over you.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Mm-hmm.
actually let's start looking at Connerton because I was at a cookout on Sunday and I heard that there's a neighbor that wants to sell her house and she might be about 200K too high. So I
Two
thought
hundred
that was
thousand too high,
yes.
above the what? Above
But
the
this
comps?
is not according to another realtor. This is according to another neighbor. She
Okay.
looked at her house. It's her neighbor actually, her direct neighbor. She looked at her house and she said, "Yeah, I don't know if she's going to sell. She wants to sell, because she's tired of people fishing behind her house. So she wants to sell, but she's priced 200K too high. And I said, then she doesn't want to sell.
Yeah, I think a lot of sellers have this wish price, right? They
Yeah,
no, they have this is what I want. And this is my house is going to sell. This house is going to sell. Mine is different. And when they go in the and our job is to say, well, based on why you feel your house is different. If I show you all these homes all have price drops, why do you think yours will sell? And if I show you this 30, 45 homes for sale in your area, why do you think they still selling? They're still sitting and not selling, based on that data, and they still no, my house is different. Those are tough sellers for them to really believe that what's happening in the market. And that's the challenge. And I think that's why
yeah,
we see so many price reductions, big price reductions, because
yeah.
sellers have their own opinion of their value. And
Hmm.
I think they want to go and try that themselves first before they accept it. And
Yeah,
that's fine. But I think time can cost you money, right? Like
yeah,
how long do you want to go with your plan instead of following the data and what a professional realtor is suggesting? So
yeah.
that's always, because the longer you go with your plan and it's not working, you're just costing yourself time in the season, you're costing yourself buyers, you're costing yourself money.
That was like Obregon, right? They were listed really high in the beginning, and they were paying $5,000 a month in mortgage, plus the 600 for the solar panels, right? So let's say they were paying 5,100 a month. If they were on the market for 10 months, that's $50,000.
5,000 for 10 months. Wow, yeah.
That's $50,000
In payments.
in payments.
So in hindsight, right? Let's say you go back to this listing agreement and you know what's going to happen, and you say, "Listen, we got to list at 499," and they were priced and their values around 575 when it expired, and they look at you like, "Are you crazy?" But you take them to the future. Let me show you something. 499 is what you're going to sell it for.
Exactly. If
You know,
we
and
stay
they,
on
they,
the market
they
this
would have chosen
long,
they would have chosen 499 back then because they would have saved $50,000.
and you know what? If they would have chosen 499 from the beginning, they probably would have had a bidding war.
Absolutely.
They probably would have had a
It's,
bidding war.
it's more likely a bidding war than a price reduction at that price point. And it's
Right.
again, it's hard for them to accept it, and they sometimes they have to go through this experience. And a lot of people believe Zillow. So, a matter of fact, talking of Zillow, can I share an article with you on Zillow and with our viewers who are watching?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to share something with you guys. I'm going to share an article with you guys. Let's do that real quick. Here we go. You guys can see my screen right now. Can you see the screen? Hello? Can you see my screen?
I see it.
Okay. So what we see here, this is Zillow's home value and home sales forecast for April 2025. This was just released yesterday. All right. So April actually it was released April 18th. And I was reading it and I thought this would be a great data point to share with our viewers. And let's go through it. I'll read this. I'll read the article real quick for you guys. Zillow's latest forecast indicates a decline in home values coupled with an increase in existing home sales for 2025. While mortgage rates are in an especially unpredictable period, barring unforeseen shocks, Zillow expects rates to end the year near 6.5%. So, Nikki, what do you think? A lot of buyers told me that the rates are going to come down to 5%. I have lenders telling me they're going to come down to 5% by the end of the year. I don't believe it until I see it. But we got experts, economists predicting by the end of the year 6.5%.
I'm sorry. Repeat your question.
Oh, I said, so what do you think about that so far? That Zillow is predicting by the end of the year for rates to be at 6.5%.
I think I think that would be great. I think with when it comes to rates, I think we see it jump and then come down, jump and then come down, jump and then come down, right? Um, so I believe it is possible for it to be at 6.5% by the end of the year. What I like about this article is it makes it known that home prices are going to come down.
Yeah, and this is on a national scale, right? So they're looking at all the markets in all 50 states, and they're saying, you know
Yeah.
what? All of you are going to have price drops. All of you are going to be down, coming down in prices because of the interest rates, the unpredictable period of interest rates, right? So 6.5% right now, I believe we're at 6.9. So it's like a 4 basis points difference. I don't think that's a big relief, though, in my opinion.
Right,
But this is what they're predicting. So I don't see a much of a change in interest rates from my perspective. But going to the second paragraph, home values are projected to drop 1.9% this year, a revision from the previous expectation of a 0.6 increase. So Zillow was predicting rates to go up by 0.6%, like 6 basis points they were predicting last month. Now they reverse their expectations and they're saying no, prices are going to go down 1.9% instead. The combination of rising listings and elevated mortgage rates is a signal potentially prices drops by year's end. With increased supply, buyers are getting more options and time to decide, while sellers are cutting prices at record levels to attract bids. I see this with new
that's
construction
what we see.
every day. Every day, email, new construction, decrease, decrease, decrease. And here's the
Yeah,
thing with new construction, they offer 20,000 in closing costs and they drop in prices. Okay. And buyers like to go and see what's new. And if they're not still, signing the dotted line and they still dropping prices, that just tells you that the market is they still trying to find their buyers. They're still searching. Buyers are
right.
not right away. They're
Yeah,
still waiting.
but
Existing home sales are projected to reach 4.2 million in 2025, representing a 3.3% increase from last year. So they're predicting more sales, more transactions, because interest rates to be lower, 6.5, more transactions, but price drops will go down, right? The only way these transactions happen if homes come down in price.
right.
Um, as spring arrives and the home shopping season heats up, Zillow anticipates a temporary surge in sales. Temporary, meaning there will be a brief time where you want to buy this house because they expect it to go down, right?
Yep.
Followed by a normal seasonal slowdown. If home prices soften and mortgage rates decline, existing home sales could benefit from improved affordability by the end of the year. Zillow expects single-family rents to rise as well, 3% in 2025, while multifamily rents are expected to take up 2.1%. Both will represent slower annual growth than current rates and long-time norms. As apartment construction slows down and single-family home development increases, a gap between single-family and multifamily rents is likely to continue narrowing. Affordability challenges and economic uncertainty are putting pressure on the rental market, leading potential buyers to delay their purchases. As a result, demand for single-family rentals is expected to grow, as these would-be buyers choose to rent until the for-sale market becomes more affordable. Now, listen, on 41 up north, did you see the new complex that they're building to
Yes.
rent? They
Yep.
are building multifamily units here. Why? Because we need more affordability. They are doing it. They're building up there. We're seeing a lot more multifamily units. Again, this area is being built out more, and I'm seeing a lot of storage places being built around
Yep.
the area, and it's happening. It's happening. And in our community, our numbers are far greater than this.
It,
Greater than this. I mean, we are past this in Florida, in our MLS, in our community, in our subdivision. Connerton is past this. Okay, guys, if you live in Connerton, we are past this. You are in a strong buyer's market. Let me break it down for you guys. Okay, I'm gonna pull up I'm gonna pull up my MLS. Can you see my screen, Nikki?
yeah, I see
All
it.
right. So that means if you see it, everybody on Facebook can see it too. Good. So Facebook viewers, friends, families, enemies, anybody. Here you go. We got active listings in Connerton. You see this here? Active, right? I'm gonna just check out that. How many homes for sale we have in Connerton? On the
80.
bottom of my screen, it says 80.
And
80
this
homes
has
for
gone
sale.
up. This
Huh?
last week it was 71.
That's right. And if you want to see the map, here you go. This is all Connerton. Everything in green is for sale. A lot of
And it's
homes, a lot
all
of
over. It's not even in one saturated area. It's
no,
everywhere in
it's
Connerton.
everywhere. It's everywhere. So a lot of options. What does this mean for buyers? Let's talk about that first before we move on. It means a lot of options. It means there's more time for them to choose their home. It means more options for them to negotiate on price and
Yes.
negotiate incentives, right? That's
Yep.
what you can do. If I can buy this house, I'll buy this house. I can buy this
Right.
house, I'll buy that house. That's what a buyer's gonna do. They're gonna price shop, right?
Yep.
So now that we know we got 80 listings for sale, and you said 50 mobile homes. Well, we passed you too, Nikki.
Yes, you
Passed you
did.
too. All right. So we got 50 homes for sale. There's a formula that us realtors use to help tell our clients, our sellers, how long it would take to sell your home. Um, and we call it months of supply. We use absorption rate, right? So how do we figure those numbers out? First thing we have to do is go back to the beginning of 2025 and figure out how many homes sold since the beginning of the year. And the way that I'm going to show you guys is I'm going to go back to sold homes for the last 120 days. Okay, that's 4 months ago, and we got 33 homes that sold. All right. So on a calculator, you're going to take 33 and you're going to divide that by 120. You're going to get an absorption rate. I'll show you on my screen. Nikki, can you see my screen?
I can't see your calculator yet.
You can't see my calculator yet. Okay, hold on one second, guys. I'm going to share my calculator with you guys. Tell me if you can see it. Where are you? One second, guys. Be easy, okay? Don't rush me. You good?
Yep.
Can you see the calculator, guys?
Yes.
All right. So you're going to take 33 homes and we're going to divide that by 120 days. And we're going to get an absorption rate of 0.275. Okay. That's not a good absorption rate. So then you're going to divide that by your calendar days for a month, which is 30. I mean, you're going to times that by 30. And you're going to get 8.25. This represents 8 homes a month. For the last 120 days, the Connerton community is selling 8 homes a month. Now, if we got 80 listings, right? We're going to take 80 listings, divide by 10. I'm sorry. 80 listings, divide by 8 homes a month, because that's the pace we're on, right? If you're selling 8 homes a month, no more homes hit the market. We got 80. We want to get rid of this 80. How long is that going to take? Well, we do this math right here, and you get 10. It's going to take 10 months.
10 months.
To get rid of this inventory. All right, let me close this up, guys. All right, and let me just stop sharing this and go back to Nikki. Share Nikki. Nikki, where are we, Nikki?
Just me and you, dude.
Me and you? Okay, hold
Yeah.
on. I'm sorry. Wait, sorry, guys. Let me just stop sharing. Stop sharing. There we go, Nikki. So, me and you right now, right?
Yep.
Okay, 10 months of
10
inventory.
months. That's a long time.
That's a shit ton of inventory. Guys, pardon my language,
That's
man.
a long time.
If you're selling a house, you potentially, now I had a listing in Connerton that expired. Okay. We were on the market 6 months. We're back on the market a few months later, and we're going almost a year in a few months. So we're on that term. Right now, we're on 10 months. Now, when I have my conversations with my clients, I'm upfront. I am honest. At the same time, I'm open to listening and setting the right expectations and saying, listen, this is what I feel. This is what you feel. Okay. But my job is to help you. It's never to tell you what you do. And so knowing that, I have to decide, do I want to work with this person? And I decide I'm going to work with this person because I've said how I felt. I've showed the data. They said how they felt. They accepted the information, and we're going to work together. Nobody's going to be mad at anybody. Like I told you this, you telling me this, we're going to go with what you want. My job is to help you, and I will always help you. I shared this information with one of my clients, and she said, I didn't even know that. And I said, well, that's why I'm here. I'm telling you what you need to know.
Right.
I'm telling you, there's 80 homes for sale. You know, and you knew there was 61 because I told you that when we hit the market. But now there's 80. And it's, you
Yep.
know, the question, the follow-up was, why are there so many homes people are selling? Well, you have a lot of situations. You got a lot of sellers who don't have who are not pricing their homes right, and they're
Mhm,
sitting on the market longer, and
mhm.
it's building up on the inventory. You got that
Yep.
going on. You got sellers who bought the house a year ago, 2 years ago. They can't lower the price, so they are stuck at a number that it's not going to sell. You got new construction in the area, and they're putting pressure on existing homes because they have a newer product at a better price. And again, if you're a buyer, you're gonna go where it's more affordable. They're gonna buy the interest rate to 5%. They're gonna give you 20,000 for closing costs, and they're gonna give you a better deal on the price. The only thing that the existing homes have over them is probably a home that's upgraded, maybe
Yep.
a home that they put some money into, and the
Yep.
buyers gonna have to decide what's more important. And the buyers most likely, based on the information, is choosing affordability is more important than your upgrades. I can
Right.
do these upgrades later.
Yep.
So that's what buyers are choosing. And so we got 10 months of inventory, Nikki. Give me some feedback on that number. What do you think? 10 months of inventory for Connaughton.
That's a lot. My advice to sellers would be go and look at your bottom line again. See where you are. Look at your direct competition. Talk to your agents and ask them for that information. Ask them for proof. Ask them to show you where you are priced, right? Also, if you are a seller, take your emotions out of it. This is
Yeah,
no longer your house. This house now belongs to the next buyer. If you need to sell now, you need to know what your numbers are. If you need to sell now, you need to know what your competition is. And unfortunately, you might have to undercut them in order for your house to be the next obvious choice. Okay. It's hard. Yes. It is not easy. I know. You have put your life and your sweat and your money and your tears into this house. Correct. Tell the next buyer, you're welcome. Say to them, you're welcome. This is no longer your house. Take your emotions out of it. Focus on getting the job done. And the job is to sell your house so that you can move on to the next one. Let me not
yeah.
say sell this house so you can move on to the next one. Okay?
Right. Yeah. I would say the same thing. Great advice, Nikki. Great advice. Focus on the next house, especially in a market where it's not in your favor. It's not a seller's market, it's a buyer's market. You are competing with 80 other sellers for the buyers. And
Right.
so it
Yep.
doesn't help you to not work or pay attention to a market that's fluid, that's consistently changing in a downward trajectory, you know?
Yes.
So I agree with you. Take your emotions out of it. Great piece of advice because a lot of sellers, like I told you earlier, oh no, my home is different. My home is going to sell. So I heard this not too long ago from a buyer who came to visit one of my listings.
Yep.
They have a house to sell, and they mentioned, no, I'm going to put my home on the market, but it's going to sell quick. I didn't want to say anything, but in my head, I was saying, you and everybody other 80 other
Right.
people in my community. You know what I mean? Like you,
Right.
I was looking at him and I was talking to him mentally,
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, your house is gonna sell quick.
I mean, I've heard that about land. I've heard that about mobile homes. I've heard that about single family homes. And the very ones that say, "Oh, yes, I'm going to put my house on the market and my house is going to sell quick," take the longest to sell.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
They
And
take the longest.
my client who I told that to, the question was to me, well, why would they see if they haven't sold their home yet? Right? And that's a great why are they looking at homes to buy if they're not on the market yet? Great question. And I agree with her, like, because if I was working with a client and they have to you know, to sell to buy, I would say put your house on the market first. Get it on the market. get an offer, and then bring that contract in. That's what makes you more serious when you're working with sellers. But at the same time, though, we got to understand that it's a buyer's market,
Right,
right? So we got to entertain all these conversations. Um,
right.
and uh, and so that's one thing. And the second thing was, the buyer also has concerns about not finding the right house. They want to make sure that they find the right house before
Yes,
they put their house on the market because they believe that their home's going to sell quick. They believe that once they hit the market, it's going to sell fast. So they don't want to be homeless. So this is their reason. This
right.
is their reasoning. And that's what I explained to them. I had to broker that information to her.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense, And I said, typically I wouldn't even show it. But we're in a buyer's market. We need to have conversation. So that, and I haven't heard back from them. So I guess they off the map right now.
Unfortunately, I think it boils down to a lot of misinformation and miseducation. I think a lot of people don't realize that you almost set yourself up for failure. If you go and look at houses and you don't have a pre-approval, you set yourself up for failure. You could say to yourself, "Oh, I make $100,000. I should be able to afford a $500,000 house." The bank will tell you different. The bank will let you know your car payment is too expensive, the insurance on your car is too expensive, you got too many kids, you in too much debt, you have too many credit cards, you
Oh,
can
yeah.
only afford 200,000. But I
Yeah.
make
Oh, you missed the child
yeah.
support payment. You missed the child support payment. I mean, you're right, yeah, because there's this thing to called underwriting, right? Where again, it's not Credit Karma when you're buying a house. It's the FICO score, and they go deep, deep. They take a
They
deep
go
dive
deep.
into your
Yep,
history, and they're looking at everything that you just mentioned. So you're right, and then they're looking at your DTI, your debt to income, how much loans you have out there. It's
right,
great. It's great to have a great credit score, but that just means that you have a lot of loans out there. You borrow a lot and you pay on time. But if you miss something, it's going to show up. If you miss something a couple of times, it's going to impact your affordability of what you can purchase.
right. Not only that, like, the underwriting company looks at your habits. So if they see a period of bad habits, they're thinking, well, what's the probability that this period of bad habits is going to happen again, right? What a lot of people don't realize is, to a loan company, to a bank, you are a risk. They are
Mhm.
giving you this money and expecting you to pay it back. So when they look deep into your history, they're thinking, what is the probability that these people are going to pay me back this money? If it's a high probability, then yeah, let's give them the money. They're going to pay me back. But if it's a low probability, we're not giving you 500,000. Maybe we'll give you 200,000, maybe 150, because
And to,
I'm not 100% sure you're gonna pay me back, right?
and to and to build on that, hold up, let me cut you up. But to build on that, that's what determines your interest rate right there. Right,
Yep.
what you said, the way you just broke it down. If you're somebody who pays on time and no low risk, low interest rate. But if you're somebody who has a history of missing a payment, if you're a higher risk, you're gonna get the higher end of that interest rate.
Exactly. And the same goes with insurance. When you go to get insurance, your house is a risk. And so the insurance company, they look at your house and they say to themselves, what is the probability that I am going to have to pay out for a new roof? Pay out because of a flood. Pay out because of a sidewalk lifting up from a tree and somebody suing me, right? Or suing the insurance company, right? They look at all of these things and they figure out what the probability is of them having to pay out money. If the
Right.
risk is too high, your insurance payment is high.
Yeah,
And
and
I
the
think a lot of people don't realize that. They don't realize that not having these concrete foundations, right? This whole what if world, there's so many different things that can go one way or another, that you set yourself up for failure when you don't follow the steps properly.
Right. Yep. And that's great. That's why you speak to the lender first. So that way you know what those principal and interest is. And then you can have conversations with your insurance company when you go visit the house on the coast.
Yep.
And $3,000 for the insurance. I know because my friend lived here 4 years ago. Yeah, but we had 8 hurricanes since then.
Uh-huh.
Go get the insurance quote. Oh, it's $9,000. That's right.
Yep.
You want to think twice? I'm thinking 5 times now. I ain't going nowhere near the coast. Exactly. So again, Florida is a whole different market than it was 3 years ago. Insurance rates are a whole different ball game than it was 3 years ago, and even taxes are different now. So
Yep.
yes, and it's very that's important. That's important. Why you want to speak with a lender, get your costs for that price, and then understand insurance. Once you see a house, check out, reach out to an insurance company. You can do that easily, calling an insurance company before you
Right.
even make an offer. Before you even make an offer, you can
Yep.
do that. Get a
Yep.
quote.
Yep.
One
Definitely.
I want to share with you. You ready for this?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna share my screen because I got a lot of clients who are selling their homes and they are going up to New York, right? So this map right here tells us the current home values for the states. I can dive into this, guys, and give you your zip code. I can dive into this. I can give you your damn home value, right? But first you gotta reach out to me directly. All right. But I'm gonna give you just the broad information right here. I got clients going up north and they're going back to New York, right? Before everybody was coming into Florida. Now, blue or purple represents a cold market. Look at the states, guys. What are the cold markets?
Florida,
Florida,
Texas,
Texas, and
Arizona,
Arizona. All
Vermont up in the corner.
and what do these states have a lot in common? They have a lot of land. They have a lot of new construction in these states, and they're building, and it's impacting home values. Now, in my community, in my area, in my state, in my MLS, what I'm noticing is a lot of people are going back up north. I
Mm-hmm.
got 3 clients who are going back up to New York, and one going back up to Pittsburgh. And you look at the values going up north. Georgia is positive. South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia is positive. West Virginia is 6.4 positive. And New York is really hot right now at 5.9. New Jersey is hotter at 6.4. In New Jersey, homes are selling quick, fast, multiple offers. In New Jersey, why is that? There's less new construction in New Jersey. You
Right.
get more money in up north. People are going back because of work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing a lot. That's what my clients are doing. They're going back up because of work, and they're gonna get paid more money, but they're gonna be going into a market that's moving faster, and the prices are higher, which is even more reason why when you put your house on the market in Florida, you want a price to sell and not sit, because if you're sitting, New York is growing and that value is going higher, which impacts what you can buy, and the house you want to buy gets smaller. It's all
Right.
connected. It's all connected.
It's all connected.
So
I just want to build on that whole sitting thing, Eric. I hear a lot of sellers say, "Oh, I just want to test the market. I just want to play with the market." And in my head, right, when I'm speaking to a client, I automatically go to the opposite side. So when I hear a seller say, "Oh, I just want to test the market. I just want to see what I can get," right? So I'm going to list high and see what I can get. As a buyer, as a buyer's agent, to me, that says, "Good, I'll come back to you in a month and a half and I'll tell you what I want to pay." Because no one is going to buy your house at top dollar with the market that we are in right now, right? When I hear when I hear buyers say, "Oh, I really like this house, but I think that it's priced way too high." Guess what? If you really like the house, what makes you think somebody else doesn't really like the house? What makes you think someone else that is ready is not going to purchase the house while you're sitting here thinking, "Oh, I'm going to wait until it comes down"? You have to stop living your life dependent on what other people are going to do. If you really like the house, do what you have to do and get it now, because if not, somebody is going to take it from under you. And
yeah,
then you'll be singing shoulda, coulda, woulda in your apartment.
yeah, I agree. I agree. I agree. I think for me, when I hear that, I'll be like, for me, oh, I really like that. Let's ask that question again. I really like the house, but I think it's priced too high. Well, you picked it. Why are we here? You know,
Right,
you picked it. You picked it. That's one, right? But I probably won't
right.
say it. But you picked it. Why we here? Second thing is, well, Let's look at the data. That's why I'm here for. If I show you that the data and the price is supported by comps, well, they priced where they should be. The question is, what do you want to pay for it? Do you want to
Exactly.
pay $20,000 less for it? Okay, let's shoot the offer. And when it gets rejected, it's on what's the next step. Okay, you can
Right.
try that. I'm willing to write the offer,
Yep.
but again, they don't have to accept what you throw at them. So if you're waiting, then somebody's going to take it. You might as well throw what your best shot at it and see if you can get it. Again, keep in mind, make sure you have money in reserve, because if you think
Yep.
it's too expensive, that means you're buying at the top of your budget. So
Yeah.
make sure you have money in reserve for this payment. Make sure you did your insurance quote. Make sure because you buying at the top. Then if you're already saying that you can afford it, and then you're already at the peak. So make sure you have money in reserve. Make your best offer. If it's $25,000 less, it's better to know that they said no instead of to think that they will say yes, or think that they will say no. Just have them give you the no. Maybe they give you a counter.
Yeah.
You know what? I had the multiple offers on my property, and I disclosed we had an offer at 30,000 below the asking price, and we had an offer at the asking price. And I used both offers to get 5,000 more from the asking price. And so, but the counter at 281, I counted at 312
Hmm.
uh for them. And we were listed at 315. And they came up to 291 with an explanation of why they're coming to that point. Basically saying, I sold 2 homes in this community, and this is what they appraised for. And I said, okay, I see those 2 homes, but did you see April 1st, the house that sold for 322?
Hmm.
Because for some reason you're not mentioning this one. You're mentioning the low ones, but you're not mentioning this one. So I sent that information and never heard back. And next day I hear, did the seller make a decision? Yeah, we pending. I said, yeah, we made a decision. We're pending, and we're pending a 5,000 above the list price, but we're giving 5,000 back for closing costs. And
Right.
so if we appraise, we got a sale for 322. It's on the books. If we appraise, fantastic. If we don't, we can revisit that, and the seller will revisit. But we are going to sell at the best price. And
Right.
so, and then we'll revisit the market. I told the
Yep.
seller, if it doesn't, I did my job. I got you this is what you hire a realtor for. Not
Yes.
not to take pictures. That's not what we're here for, to take pictures. It's not what we're here for. We are here to inform you of the conditions of this market and how you get the highest price, right? And then when we get these offers, to negotiate for your best
Yeah.
interest. Okay,
Yep.
and to be honest with you, these things are more important than a realtor taking pictures. Anybody can do that, but the game is negotiating, providing information, and being honest with the client, and willing to take their emotions out of it and just look at this as a transaction.
Yes.
How to benefit, how to win in the transaction, and
Yep.
get your house sold. And so that's what you hire a realtor for. And so we got the best deal, and we'll see what happens now. I told the client, this is got you the best deal. If it
Right.
doesn't appraise, we have to
We have
revisit,
to revisit. Yep.
but we're still
Yep.
gonna get top dollar because we're gonna be at the appraised value, and she's
Right.
and she's okay with that, and that's fine. That's what you want, you want to give them the opportunity to get the best deal.
Yep. I like that. So
Uh,
my ending remarks, my ending question
yeah.
is, when you go on Amazon, so recently I went on Amazon and I was searching for bidets for my toilet bowls.
Okay. Okay.
So when you go on Amazon, at the top bar, you type in bidet and 50 bidets pop up. How many of them do you look at? You look at 50, right?
Okay. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
want to see how much this one is selling for, what the features are, what is shipping and handling, right? Because you want to get the best deal, right?
Yeah.
Whoever is priced the best will have the most sold,
Right.
right?
Price the best with the best value. Right.
And
Price the best and offers the best value. Right.
when you are in a community, you need to see what all of the other houses like yours are doing so that you can be the next obvious choice.
Right. Or because you can also see with an agent, they can show you what's pending, what's closing. They can show it to you and see what type of houses are these. And if all of them is new construction, because a lot of the inventory that's pending right now is new construction, right? Half of it. what are they doing? Okay, what is it? Are they giving closing costs? Okay, we got to offer closing costs. Where are
Right.
they? We got to price close to the new construction. And again, it's a check. It's an emotional check. It's a money check. It's everything for the seller. They have to like, damn, for us to do it, we got to come down to that price point. And yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it is. Right, Amazon, and then Amazon is a bidet. I don't know how much is the bidets, but these are hundreds of thousands of dollars. These are thousands of dollars in net proceeds. So yes, it's just a it's a bigger game on the house level. But
It's
yes, same
definitely a bigger game,
fundamentals.
but it's still a comparison.
Yeah,
You
same
can't look at,
fundamentals. Same
what
thing.
the competition is doing or not doing, right?
Same fundamentals. Yep.
So, Eric, this was great.
It was great. It was great. And next time we get together, we're gonna dive into this right here. Again, I'll show it one more time. We are gonna dive into this and we're gonna look at metros for Florida. Look at all these information for Florida, guys. We're gonna dive into this. We could dive into the counties.
Oh
All right.
man, we got to start. We're looking at Okeechobee.
Okay, we're gonna stop. We could dive into zip codes, and we can look at tons of information in terms of homes being overvalued, salary to afford a home, what's the most affordable zip codes, who's overvalued, what zip codes are overvalued. This will help you position your offer better, guys. We're gonna dive into all of this when the next time we get together. But for now, we are done with our information video. Nikki, thank you for having me.
This was great. We have to do more videos. We got to stop slacking.
But what I want to do next is I want to go to the back in new construction in Connerton and just look at all the land where they're going to build the homes.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about that and show people what's happening because again, we can talk about it. But when
Yep.
we did, we put the cameras on it and we talk
Yep.
about price values and where it's going and where the interest rates are right now and where the economy is and the concern people have and why homes are not selling. And you got like 1,000 homes back there that are going to be built.
Right.
You got a potential problem there. And so I would love to be back there and just walk it and talk about it.
We will. We'll do that. And I'm going to make sure my mics are charged so that we can be heard with all of the traffic back there now. And we'll make it happen.
Sounds good, guys. Erik Pacheco from Pasco. No, from where I'm from. I'm from well, how far do I go? When I say where I'm from, well, I'm talking about where I work at. I work from Sarasota up to Citrus County, from Pinellas out to Orange County. Okay, that's where I'm at. I do the 4 squares right there. Where you at, Nikki? Where do you work?
I am in Pasco.
Yeah, but you do a lot of work in Lakeland, and you've been driving
I
in Lakeland, so
do.
you would Polk. You gotta say Polk County. You
Pasco.
from Pasco. You from Hernando because you go to Brooksville too. You go to Hernando, Pasco, Hillsborough, Polk.
Yes.
That's where you at.
What county is Tarpon Springs in?
Tarpon will be Hillsborough. Tarpon will be Hillsborough.
Tarpon is my peak.
Yeah, that will be Hillsborough. And I think Holiday is Pasco. So I think Tarpon is Hillsborough.
Yes. This was great. Thank you guys for joining us. We are so excited that you came. Nicole Salter, Erik Pacheco. Any questions you have, feel free to email us. I'm Nicole Salter Realty at gmail.com. Erik?
I'm Erik Pacheco, realtor at gmail.com.
We look forward to any questions that you have. We will definitely make a video for you. Let us know what you need to know. We love educating people. Bye for now.
Bye, guys. Oh, shit.
I can't with you.
I'm still there, right? Where am I at? Did I stop recording? Stop recording. Stop video. Close video. Did I record?